Hi, I'm Seamless, and today is Tuesday, and do you see what the name of this video is? If you see anybody having a list or a post or some essay or a video with that in its name or something like it, don't listen to anything they have to say, especially if they mean it, because what these lists tend to be, or they tend to be some things like, oh, they overcompress some things, or they don't take advantage, they don't think about this sort of thing, oh, they don't mid-side compress or whatever. Like they give a bunch of ideas that these days are probably ripped off from someone who made the same post a year ago, but it's not so much that the tips themselves are bad, because sometimes it is nice to be reminded that some of these things exist or that some of these things are possible. But for the most part, it's shrouded in the idea that doing anything else is wrong. And if you really think about it, then logically, you really can arrive at the conclusion yourself that what wrong means is not going to be the same thing for anybody. And it's definitely not going to be the same thing as whatever this person said versus what, your experiences are, that kind of thing. I'm really mostly speaking towards like actual production tips. I mean, like, literally like the examples I gave like different EQ ideas or compression, that kind of thing. They might say some things about organization or whatever, and those are pretty much, for the most part, good. Like, it is a mistake that I make where I don't name things. I probably should. But you're not doing it wrong if you don't keep your kick at 6 dB and everything else at minus 4 dB. You're not doing it wrong if you overcompress some things of more than a certain ratio on certain ideas. You're not doing it wrong if you sidechain everything instead of sidechaining everything individually. If it sounds good, then you're doing it right. That's all there is to it. That's all there will ever be to it. Obviously, some people want to sound like how other people do it, and if you want to do that, then you really want to find out what they do. And I really guarantee you that for the most part, like, the farthest higher up producers that make the music that inspire us probably weren't paying attention to these ideas either. They were likely doing whatever they thought sounded good, and because they were the ones that did it, they didn't have to worry about certain things and that kind of stuff. And it's our job to kind of follow in their footsteps, and that's sort of how life works. But point being, don't really take anybody's word for anything. Like, not even mine. I really like to try and show things more than sort of talk about some things. And if they give examples about why some things might be good or bad ideas, and those specific examples are good, then by all means, take it into consideration and run with it. But it's just like, I've had a lot of lessons, and I have still more lessons, and a lot of times, or even like, forums and Reddits and that kind of thing, and posts for people to ask certain questions and or show off certain things. And like, I'll give them the answers or whatever, and like, it's just weird when they're just like, well, I said, but I heard that I should be using ozone all the time, or I heard that I should be keeping everything minus 6 dB, and like, you're peaking like plus 20, what's wrong with you? Like, if these are things that you could not have noticed until I showed it to you, then how valuable were it that it happened? You know what I mean? Like, man, I remember this has to do a thing recently where there was Oscars? I don't remember, but it's some award ceremony for one of the categories, or maybe it was just for animated features, and Pixar didn't win or whatever. And Pixar made a point of, at the end of one of their movies, to say that everything in the movie was hand animated, which is to say that they didn't use mocap or anything like that. And they lost out to some other people who did. And then the inference is that what they were doing was much more difficult. They put a lot more effort and time into it, and it was much more impressive as a result because of what they chose to do with it. And someone else did something that was easier. And the problem with that somebody aptly pointed out was that if you have to tell somebody how you did it, then, to distinguish it from something that was nearly identical, then perhaps it doesn't really matter. That'd be like if I was, contracted to make a track, and I decided to only build it out of kick samples. Like, that's just how I did. And that's the thing I could do, and it would take forever and really, really hard. But I would end up making a track that someone else could make without making it out of kick samples in about 8 seconds. And it would be just the wrongest kind of thought to think that something is better just because it was more difficult to make. And I know why you think that. I know why you feel like that. I definitely did for a while when I was a newer producer. And I mean, there's that whole idea too, that like I mentioned, I made that video, the value of effort, that's the whole point of that video, was the idea that just because something is harder to make does not necessarily make it better. It's always going to be the truth of life. In fact, for the most part, the people who are on the top are up there because they were able to do what they were doing a lot easier than other people because of the burnout factor. It's very important stuff. But I really just have a particular pet peeve about people who like claim to make like, don't do these 10 things that you should do if you want to be a professional producer, or like mistakes everyone makes that prevent them from sounding professional. Oh my God. That term professional is another one. That's just, what does that even mean anymore? God, just use your brains about these things. And like, if you have to be told why, or you can't really see a difference, it's not because you can't see a difference. It's not because you're not a professional. Professionals have some kind of like super robot hearing or something. Like, it's because there is no difference. If you cannot discern a difference in the work that you're doing, then whatever it is that's happening is not worth whatever you're trying to do. That's all there is to that. That's all there has ever been to that. That's pretty short, but that's more or less what I wanted to say. If you have any questions about this, please let me know. Yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and fun things that you can do on YouTube. And as usual, have a nice day.